Okay, you guys, I'm just interrupting this review really fast because I just filmed it and I watched it again in the car, and I'm just all over the place. I apologize. I went on a lot of tangents, didn't make the points I was trying to make, missed some stuff, and so warning, you haven't even seen the review yet, but warning, I am just not on my game this week. I'm not on my game, not on my Fear the Walking Dead review game at all. It's not one of my funny car reviews, so I apologize. I will be better next week, hopefully given a little bit more time to like get back to normal, and next week's will be better. So if you choose to turn this video off halfway through, if it's bugging you, I do not blame you. Tune in next week, it'll hopefully be better, and thank you guys so much for your support. Enjoy if you choose to watch. Bye. What's up, guys? It's Meg. Welcome back to Meg After Dark. Today I'm reviewing the latest episode of Fear the Walking Dead, season 4, episode 3, I believe. I forget what it's called. Nick dies, spoiler alert. Crazy freaking episode. Despite seeing like a spoiler, it was still like really weird to see him go out like that, and I was completely shocked that the little girl of all people was the one to do it. Okay, before we get really started into the review, back in the car again. Lots of people around today, and also they are leaf blowing out here, so it might get loud. I just want to thank you guys so much. There was so much love on my reaction video from you guys about my dog, and I just like, y'all were gonna make me cry reading all your comments, so thank you so much. That was so sweet of you. Okay, I don't have a lot of time, so getting into the review. I don't have a ton to say about this episode. I'm obviously not happy with Nick dying. I, found out that it was the actor's choice to leave the show, which is really frustrating to me. It was kind of the same thing with Dale, where we had heard that Dale, I forget what the guy's name is that played Dale in The Walking Dead. Forget what his name is all of a sudden, but he had wanted to leave the show, and so he like abruptly departed before his time should have been on the show. So I feel like it's kind of the same. It really bums me out that actors kind of move on from such a huge franchise like this, and I wish that they had sent him off, like, if that's his choice to leave, I wish that they had sent him off in a different way. It was such an odd episode, okay? So, let's get into it. So, this episode switches from past to present. We don't know how much time has passed in between past to present, but it starts out with Nick, and we see him tearing up all the crops. So pretty much what what Mel predicted is happening. All of the crops are bad, and they were just at a point where they were going to be able to start providing their own food, so now they really have to hustle to find food. Nick and Madison go out on a run. Now, I was surprised that after what happened the last time with Nick trying to go out on his own, that he was like so fine with just going out with Madison. Maybe it's easier to have somebody there with you, but I was worried from him from the beginning of this episode. Just based off of what happened the last time he tried to leave. So he goes out with Madison, and they have a conversation too while they're out there. He's like, how do you come out here? And she says, I try to find the good every time, something good every time I come out. So this whole past part of the episode that we're seeing with Nick and Madison is like, it's kind of this, Nick is finding the good even through the bad. They come across a church. That's where they were planning on going to see if there was food there. And they had been talking on the radio, and I feel like they should be more cautious, because we then see that the vulture guy has already gotten there first. And we see Charlie come out with the radio in her hand, and it sort of seems like she's probably been listening, or somehow they have like figured out how to listen, or they're on the same channel or something as the group. So I hope that they don't continue to use the radios, because it seems like they're always going to be one step ahead of them. That being said, Nick was really worried because he gets so upset that he tries to kill the guy. He tries to slit the guy's throat, and Madison stops him. But Charlie turns out Charlie's there, and Charlie comes out and sees it happening, and you know, looks scared. And Nick genuinely cares for this girl. So does Madison, you know. So even Madison says at one point, you know, we'll get her back. And so, but Nick is really worried how he came across. You know, he came across as violent, scary in front of this little girl, and he voices those concerns to Madison. And, you know, Madison tries to tell him, like, no, she saw you trying to get food for your people, trying to protect your people, that kind of thing. You know, trying to basically tell Nick, like, it's gonna be okay, we'll get her back. It's not as bad as you think, that kind of thing. And Nick asks her, he says he doesn't like being on the outside. Like, he doesn't like how it makes him feel. And I think this whole episode kind of revolves around Nick and how he feels on the outside, being on the outside of, you know, their safe haven of the diamond. And he says very, like, clearly, like, he doesn't like how it makes him feel. And we see, you know, that he acted out there right before he says that. He acted out violently towards this guy. Like, he gets angry. And we've seen Nick in the past too. We didn't see, of course, we still don't know what happened after the dam, but we've seen Nick in the past and how being on the outside has affected him. Like, he's very extreme in his whatever he believes in at the time. He's very extreme. And it does kind of remind me of Morgan, which I think is so great that Morgan and him were together at the end of this episode. Because they are so much alike. You know, Morgan he's very extreme. You know, he's either in full clear kill mode or I don't kill ever, no matter what, no matter how bad the person is, you know? So Nick says, you know, he doesn't like how it makes him feel on the outside. At the end of the present, or the past part of the episode, we see that they do find good in the day. They find the bluebonnet flowers, okay? And Nick lays down in the field and it seems very peaceful, and it's like, he's found the good on the outside. Like, so even if it's brief, he's found the good. So then we're moving to the present, and obviously it's switching throughout the episode, you guys know that, but we move to the present, and we have John, Morgan, and Althea captured by Nick, Madison, Alicia, Strand, Lucy. Not Madison, excuse me. And Althea is able to, like, quickly turn the tables. She is so intriguing to me. I really enjoy her character, although I think, like, the obsessiveness over the tapes is a little, like, weird. But she's very obsessive about it. We saw at the very end of the episode, she saw the lockbox was broken in her SWAT van, and she was so worried that one of the tapes was gone. And then we see, like, she looks at this box of the tapes called The Bog. And I'm like, what happened in the bog? I really want to know. Like, I hope somebody watches these tapes at some point. So yeah, it's odd. She's like, I'll help you, but you have to give me your story. And I'm kind of over the story thing. I really like John in this episode as well, but I want to focus on Nick here, really, because he was, obviously, this episode revolved around him. When Althea tries to turn the tables on Nick and Alicia and them, they end up crashing the SWAT van, and Morgan and Nick stay behind while Althea and Lucy and everybody goes and tries to find, you know, some vehicle to tow the van out. And I loved that Morgan and Nick stayed behind because they are so much alike. Maybe not right at the present time, but I think Morgan really sees a lot of himself in Nick as they kind of move through the episode. We do see that Morgan sees the vulture vehicle. He obviously doesn't know who it is, but when Nick sees the vehicle, like, a huge struggle happens between him and Morgan. He is so freaking desperate to get to this vulture vehicle, and it's so intriguing too, because it's like, why? We still don't know what exactly happened to make Nick so desperate to get to these guys. Like, why are they even out there? They haven't said anything still, you know? So Nick runs off, nearly gets himself killed by walkers. Morgan saves him, and I loved that moment too, because it tells you what kind of place Nick is in now. Something is very clearly happened, because we saw well, it's all at the end of the episode, but we saw that Nick in the present, or in the past, God, I'm so confusing. I apologize, you guys. I tried to take my notes and write my notes, but I feel like I'm like babbling and you might not follow me very well, so I apologize if that's the case. In the past portions of the episode, Nick seemed like he could, you know, he didn't like going out, but he understood, like he was with Madison, she was telling him to find the good, like it seemed like it could work out. And then in these present portions of the episode, we see like he is just done. He tells Morgan that if the roles had been reversed, he would have left him there for the walkers to eat, you know, which is a pretty like strong statement. He wouldn't have even tried to save him. I feel like Nick is very much in a place that Morgan just came from. So that's why Morgan's able to kind of see how Nick is and like what Nick's going through and understand it. And he's not really trying to help him throughout the episode, but I think Nick is like intrigued by Morgan, but not enough to like, you know, think that like that's a good thing, you know, to not kill. But I definitely feel like, you know, he wants to know more about Morgan. So let me see, where am I at? They start walking. Basically, I guess let's just get down to it. Eventually they run into the vulture guys and Morgan gets there first and he realizes who the guy, only one vulture guy, excuse me. He recognizes the car, realizes who it is, and he's like, you need to get out of here. And at first, when I watched the episode, I thought it was Morgan just trying to save the guy's life because he knew that Nick would kill him. But ultimately, what I realized is that Morgan was trying to save Nick from going through that, because it changes you when you kill someone like that. And Morgan knows that, and he, you know, he's like, I lose people and then I lose myself. And he didn't want Nick to lose himself, you know. And in that moment, Nick didn't listen, and he goes, Morgan just leaves, you know, he doesn't want to be a part of it. And Nick doesn't listen, and he kills this guy, like, brutally. Like, it was just, like, the guy was already impaled on the thing, and he just, like, really slowly and super intense, like, just, like, pushed him down more on it, almost like he just enjoyed it, you know, like he just needed it so badly. The guy dies. Nick comes out, like his hands covered in blood, like he just looks like he looks crazy. And then I can't remember the exact conversation, but it comes down to Morgan giving Nick the book, you know, The Art of Peace or whatever it's called. And it seems like, you know, Nick like goes over and starts reading it, and it seems like, maybe Morgan could change Nick. And then before, like, I swear he probably didn't even get a paragraph read before he's shot. And it's the little girl. And honestly, like, that, I just feel like it's such a weird move to make the little girl be the one to kill Nick. I feel for the little girl. I really do, because if she has only known these vulture guys as being the ones who took her in, who saved her potentially, I mean, I don't know how they found her. I don't know if they killed her family and took her or what, but they're all she's known for probably a pretty long time. And that guy admits to Nick and Madison earlier, you know, in the past portion of the episode, that he was the one who found her, the little girl. So when Nick kills him, like, I feel like that's almost like killing, you know, if she saw it or if she realized it was him who did it, I don't, you know, I mean, I probably would have killed Nick too if I was a kid. You just killed, like, her protector, the guy who took her in, like, one of her people. And I think in that moment, you know, she shot Nick, and then it was almost like a shock as, like, did I just do that kind of thing? I think she knew it was Nick. I really do. I think her hurt and upset over the guy dying kind of took over there, and she shot him because she saw the opportunity. But I do think, like, it was really scary for her, and then she kind of just was like, whoa, what did I just do? And she ran off. Alicia and Lucy and Strand come up like right as he's dying. It was so sad. It really was. And I know that I didn't like cry in the episode, you guys. It didn't mean that it didn't affect me. I was very sad like to see Nick go, and to go so suddenly too, where like he didn't even like, there was no like goodbyes or anything. He was just like struggling to breathe, dying, and Lucy and Alicia just show up, and Alicia's panicking, and it was just so awful and emotional. Obviously having both been spoiled, and also like I've had a lot of my own emotion this past week, so it just didn't I just didn't cry or like really feel much in that moment. Obviously, you know, it is really sad that his character is gone. I was looking forward, you know, he's like one of the few characters like that I liked, and I really wanted to know like what happened to him after the dam, but more like from his point of view kind of thing. So I feel like this isn't the last time we're gonna see Nick, because obviously like I think they're gonna do a lot more flashbacks and things, so we will find out more information and see him kind of in those flashbacks. But it's really sad that like his character is not gonna be there anymore. And it makes you just wonder, like, Alicia, oh my gosh, like, she was freaking out. Madison wasn't there, so it's obviously going to be a huge thing for Madison. Like, her kids were all that mattered to her, if you remember. So to have just one child left, like, oh my god, it's gonna be so awful. And Lucy, like, I just found it so weird that Alicia was like on Nick, like, oh my god, it's gonna be okay, like, hold on, whatever, like trying to comfort him while freaking out. And Lucy just sat there and like stared at him in shock, and I don't know why that stuck with me, that she just didn't say anything. I don't know, like, everybody grieves differently, and she was in shock, I know, and she looked extremely sad, but I don't know why it just really bothered me that she just didn't say anything that I could hear to Nick, like, no I love yous or anything. I don't know. Did that bug anyone else, or am I just being picky? So like, it seemed like this whole episode was kind of like, it revolved around Nick and him not wanting to come on the outside because he doesn't like how it makes him feel, doesn't like how it makes him act. Clearly, like in this part of the episode at the end, you know, it made him act in a way where he murdered someone. And we don't, you know, I would feel better knowing the reason why he did it, to be honest. I don't think we're gonna find that out just yet, I guess. I think it's just gonna slowly unfold this entire season. I liked the episode for what it was. The parts I liked most were the Morgan and Nick interactions, like when they were walking together in their conversation. I also really enjoyed Luciana and Althea and John and kind of Strand, you know, like their minimal interactions that we saw of them working together. And how like Althea gave, Luciana gave Althea like the respect. She was like, yeah, like she knows how to take care of herself out here kind of thing. And Alicia, man, she looks like she's been through so much. Like before Nick died, she looked deadly, like don't fuck with her. Like she's been through something, like, and you don't want to mess with her. And then now, you know, of course, now she's really been through something, but I'm just so intrigued. So fear is, you know, they're doing a good job of making us want more, making us hang in there because we want answers. I'm still bummed that we're on the 3rd episode and we don't know a single damn thing that happened after the dam. It's very frustrating. I kind of am starting to feel like we're just not really gonna find out much. You know, they said that people would be able to start season 4 having not watched any previous episodes. So I'm wondering if they're just like kind of letting go of the first 3 seasons and like starting fresh. I don't know. Okay, you guys, let me know what you thought about this episode in the comments. All around, it was pretty good. It felt very sudden for Nick, and I guess like the whole episode revolving around him and how it makes him, that's what I was trying to say, is how it makes him feel to be out there, and how violent he was when he was out there, and how Morgan comes along with this new way of thinking, and once again Morgan is trying to help someone and they die, you know? I mean, it just, ugh. It reminds me of the poor kid that Morgan was mentoring that died, Henry's brother. What was his name again? Or was it Henry's brother? Yeah. Anyways, I feel bad for Morgan, you know? Ugh. I hate it. I don't want Nick to be gone. Okay. I've babbled on way too long. I'm sorry, you guys. I was kind of all over the place with this review. I'm just not on top of my game right now. It's been a rough week. I didn't want to do any of these videos, but obviously after seeing last night's episode, I have to talk about it. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry you had to watch this whole thing if you stuck through it. But thank you, and I will see you guys next week for a reaction for episode 4. Have a great day. Bye.